All right, guys, let's see. Example number 3. They've got a couple of things here, and there's just a little bit different between each one, but I definitely want to look at each of these because it's going to give us a sense of what these differences mean. All right, now let's look at this first one. I'm actually going to ask you to have your calculators out, and I want you to type it in exactly the way you see it. You see it as negative. I'm sorry, let me get a pen here. This one says negative 3 to the fourth, which means, guys, if you're typing it into the calculator, type in the negative button, type in 3. You can put the up arrow, which should be right above the x squared, okay, and then 4. And who has an answer for that? Kyle, what do you have? Negative 81, okay. Now here's my point. You see that the negative is not being raised to the fourth power. Only the 3 is. This means if I were to rewrite this problem, I'm going to extend it. This would be negative 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Only the 3 is being multiplied 4 times, not the negative. Now watch what happens with the next problem. Okay? Now for this one, type it in into your calculator just as you see it. Parentheses, negative sign, 3, close parentheses, up arrow, 4. Now when you get your answer, I'd like you to give it to me. Gordy? Positive 81. And that's because this one is saying negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. When we put those parentheses around it, it said take everything in here and multiply that 4 times. This first one, the negative, and here let me get a different color. This negative isn't with the 4. It's really like a negative 1 times 3 to the fourth. Okay? It's not being raised to the fourth power. So be careful with that when you're working with your calculator. Okay? Now let's look at this next one. This next one, it says 1 plus 5 squared. Remember, this is just simple PEMDAS. We need to deal with the parentheses and then the exponents. Jackson, what do I get the first step that I simplify? Hey, hang on, the first step that I simplify. I get 6 inside those parentheses squared, and then what do I get? 36. Well done. Okay? But on this next problem, I don't have parentheses. It says 1 plus 5 squared. Again, PEMDAS. All right? What do I get on the very first step? What do I get, Chris? 1 plus 25. I dealt with the exponents, and now I'm going to add them together and get 26. So do you see the difference with these parentheses and without? They certainly give us different answers. Okay? Same thing with parentheses here and then without. Any questions on that stuff just before we go? We're good on that? Troy, what you got? Yeah, on the homework you can use calculators if you have them. You can't use mine because I need them here for all the other classes. Okay? iPhones, iTouches, they all have calculators on them. Okay? Devin.
So on the first one, it's basically saying negative 3 in parentheses.
It's not saying negative 3 in parentheses
No, but I
on
mean
the first one.
negative parentheses 3.
It's as if it's saying negative parentheses 3 to the fourth. And the negative's on the outside. Okay? All right, good job, guys. And let's look at our last example here.